everybody.
Let's say it again. Happy Super Bowl Sunday. Now say it loud enough and you can communicate with everybody who stayed home this It is what? Starting at 3:35, I think, this afternoon, so I'm sure everybody here will catch the game, yes. Now, I love it. One of my favorite football stories is the guy who, at the end of the season, finds out his wife passed away in October. That's called a football fan. Good. What is it? In order to be a true football fan, you have to be intelligent enough to understand the game and stupid enough to think it matters. Okay. Yeah. Foxy's going to appreciate that. My topic this morning is how to be super, and I was thinking about as we were putting this together and contemplating the weekend, and what we're doing as we start our month of February in the right way is that every Sunday we're here, we talk about how to be super, don't we? You see, the truth of you is the realization that there is one life. It is everywhere at once. It made everything out of itself. Therefore, the truth of us is that life, and it gave us something that nothing else has, and that is the ability to know that that happened, and to know that that is everything we are, and to know that we can, if we listen to the great, the good, and the wise, honor what they taught and begin to move forward in life in such a way that we know, as Dr. Holmes said, and we're talking about this in our Emerson class on Monday night, and that is the realization that we have unlimited potential, but we can only use as much of it as we understand we have, as we understand about the truth of it, as we understand it. You see, if it's done unto us as we believe, then we can look at every religion, every concept, every limitation, doubt, and fear, and we can see very clearly that everybody is proving what they believed of themselves, that their belief system operating through law is producing their experience. I think one of the great lessons of my life was when Dr. Fenwick Holmes, who was my teacher and friend and Ernest Holmes' older brother, Fenwick sent me down to explore the teachings of P.D. Ouspensky, who pointed out something that I didn't want to hear at the time because I was operating as a religious scientist from satisfying myself with knowing about it. And what Dr. Holmes was challenging me to do is go higher than that. Honor what Ernest Holmes said in Boy Celestial when he pointed out, it is not enough the great, the good, and the wise knew what they knew. I need to know what I myself can know, not just to worship the fact that they knew it. How many know people who've done that? I know people who call themselves religious scientists and still doing that. Okay. See, the challenge is, as Dr. Raymond Charles Barker used to point out, that there's a whole lot of people who come to us who sit and nod their head on Sunday morning and then walk out Monday morning and act like they never heard this at all. See? They're still operating from the old premise, if I show up on Sunday, everything's cool. See? I grew up in a church, they taught us that God has a checkoff list, and, if you. How many were there? If you missed Sunday, you worried all week. Hope I make it through the week so I can, make this up. Now, everyone say, how to be super. Acts 17:25 says this, seeing he giveth all life and breath and all things. Doesn't say some. Our Father, which art in heaven. Doesn't say some. Doesn't say a few of us. Doesn't say an isolated little group. See, we know as religious scientists that most of us evolved out of saved religion. And the problem with the saved is they have to build walls around themselves and have the unsaved on the other side of the wall in order to justify their position. The metaphysical movement, starting with Quimby, going on into the works of Emerson, going on into the works of Emma Curtis Hopkins, then Charles and Myrtle Fillmore of Unity, then Nona Brooks of Divine Science, Religious Science with Ernest and Fenwick Holmes. All of this began to evolve from the premise that everything the great, the good, the wise taught is good enough to be true. Now I need to be smart enough, intelligent enough, clear enough, and dedicated enough to embody that truth and let it look out of my eyes, not settle for just knowing about it, not settle for just being a technique worshiper. How many know people that have been in this for years and they're still involved with the technique of trying to get to it? They're still trying to get to it. You are it. Everybody say, what I'm searching for, I am searching with. See, it's not something outside of you. There has never been in the history of the universe anything that has ever come forth from God's mind that is greater than you are. Nothing. No one, no person, place, or thing. You're super. You're super. Okay. And what we need to do is allow ourselves to know and know we know that there is a power within us that is ready, willing, and able to become anything we not make it do, but let it do. Everybody say, let go and let God. Now, how many know people who still say let go and let God, and they're still bibbity-bobbity-booing it? See, they're still trying to hocus-pocus their life into change. They're still looking for nonsense to justify their limitation instead of inspiration to free themselves into what their heart desires, which is greater good. We have a power within us that knows what to do and how to do it. Dr. Holmes says on page 28 of the Science of Mind textbook, we shall never encompass God, and yet we shall always be in God and of God. Everybody say, I move from God, through God, to God. Always. Why? Because there's no place to go. Now, I will say this. Every religion, every spiritual concept on the planet is right. And it's all trying to get to where? The same place, because there's no other place to go. They're just doing it their own different way. So we don't have to make them wrong in order for us to be right. Dr. Spensky pointed out that going to the top of the mountain is a spiral road, and sometimes those who choose to go higher than those who don't, the ones who don't lose sight of them because the road goes spiral, and they begin to fear for your safety. How many have run into people throughout your lifetime who found out you come to religious science and they fear for your safety? Yes, okay. Now, I love what it says on, in the textbook. How many got your handout? All of you get your handout this morning? Okay. The action of the Spirit within itself. Look at what Dr. Holmes says. And I will read this to you and listen to the words. You know, we're exploring Emerson right now, and I always tell my students, if you're going to study Emerson, read it out loud so you can hear it. You get a secondary input. This is going to give you a secondary input, and one reason I'm going to read it, since you have it and can see it, is YouTube does it. Everybody say, good morning, YouTube. Good morning. Hey, gang. Now, Dr. Holmes says this, God, the self-existent first cause, speaks and it is done. His word is law. God is word. God is law. God is spirit. Spirit knows itself. The law is its servant, is the servant of the Spirit, and is set in motion through its word. All law is some form of universal force or energy. Law does not know itself. Law knows only to do. Love only to do. The power within you every day you wake up and open up your eyes is saying to you, give me something to do. And as Emerson said, we are what we think about all day long. So what we think about is what we're giving it to do. And if you want to change anything in your life, whether it's health, finances, relationships, anything else, then what you need to do is first understand what you want to change into, and then ask yourself, am I being the mental equivalent of that change? Am I the cause of that change? Am I allowing myself to understand this is what I desire and better? And if it was 100% in my life, how would I feel? I go ahead and feel that way now so it has a place to happen. So it has a place to happen. How many have allowed yourself to contemplate a greater experience, but you're not contemplating or you're not learning how to give it a place to happen? All you're doing, you're satisfied with wanting it to happen. You've heard me, I've been standing in this pulpit 36 years, and one of the things that I've always taught is the person who says, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, and if you know them long enough, one day they'll say, you know, I almost did that once. I almost did it. Okay. You see, don't confuse yourself with being satisfied with what you want. See, the challenge is to wake up and understand if you want it. If you really want it, then you're going to expect it. And if you really expect it, you'd have it. And if if it isn't there 100% physically, then go ahead and have it in consciousness. Be the consciousness of what you want. I love it. Is everybody aware we're having the Super Bowl today? Okay. I love it. Everybody says, "Who are you for?" I don't know. It'd be nice if we had a football team in the Bay Area. Maybe we will next year. Anyhow, but I was listening. How many know Aaron Rodgers is one of our kids from the Bay Area? Grew up in Chico. Okay, and his dad every weekend would bring him down. He would sit there and watch who? Joe Montana, when he was a little boy. And he said what? He identified with that. Now he knew he couldn't be Joe Montana, but he could do what? He could be his version of Joe Montana.